Hi guys, I'm here with, correct me if I'm wrong, Wolfgang Warsch. Did I pronounce it?
It's pretty good. If you really pronounce it like in German, as we do, it's like Wolfgang Warsch.
Wolfgang Warsch.
Most of the time, people say Wolfgang Warsch, so it's quite close.
For those who don't know, he is the awesome designer of The Mind, Quacks of Quedlinburg, Taverns of Tavernal, Illusion, which is like picking up so fast in the Philippines, like sold out in a week. Like we were so surprised. I was actually a bit disappointed with myself because I was looking at the Dice Tower review of it before making the forecast, and I was saying it doesn't look as much fun as The Mind. So maybe we should lower the forecast a bit. And then when we got it and we played it, and we were doing it on Facebook live, after that, the whole week, everyone was playing it. So
Wow, I love to hear it.
like people were buying 3 to 4 copies because they were giving it to friends and family. Because most of the time in the Philippines, or the community is in this mode where we're looking to bring our loved ones into the scene, so that by the time we get home, we have other playmates for board games as well. And The Mind and Illusion are actually perfect.
Illusion is quite easy to pick up even for kids, I guess. I mean, as long as you can understand the the amount of the area of color, while compared to The Mind, where you have to be a bit older to understand what's going on.
And actually, we always get the tricky cards, the ones with the text and numbers. And
Oh, these are the mean ones. Yeah,
those are the mean ones.
But I love to hear that it's kind of successful or liked over there, because I always feel it's like a bit of like the very, very, very small brother of The Mind, and very often overlooked.
Yeah.
But maybe this is very culture dependent, which games and which countries are successful or being loved.
So I think especially for us, because everyone likes to gather around at a table, it is very normal for us not to have dinner or lunch until our family members who are in the same place as we are would sit at the table so that we can eat together. That's why those small filler games while waiting are really big in the Philippines. Aside from the fact that they're at a very affordable price level. Yeah. So we're doing a quick interview. I crowdsourced some of the questions that we have. These are coming from what we call the curators. They're a community in the Philippines. It's a group of about 20 to 25 people who actively talk about board gaming in general in our country. We try to localize reviews. We try to curate and say that these are the games that I think would be best to bring more people into the hobby, or for those who have gone into the hobby, like with Splendor or Wingspan, like what's next for them. Especially for us, because it's such a bad experience if we bought a game and it doesn't fit well with us. Because, for example, in the Philippines, our average daily wage is about 10 euros per day. And it's actually a luxury for us to be able to buy a board game.
Yeah. I just hope that my games like Illusion and The Mind have too expensive over there.
They're actually perfect.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So the first question that we got is, what are your top 3 games that are not yours?
That's kind of hard to say, because I don't play a lot of board games.
Okay.
Most of the time I spend working on my own prototypes. So most of the games that I like a lot are games that are already several years old, because all of the new published ones I don't play too often. I changed this a bit the last few months, so I started going to a monthly event where I play also new published board games. But my favorite ones, when I have to say, Seven Wonders.
Okay.
I love Seven Wonders. Just a perfect game when it comes to game length and how many people can play, and zero downtime, and also the amount of decision you have to make. I love to play Go. I'm really bad in playing Go, but I really loved it. I taught it myself when I was 14 or so, and the only person I know who can also play Go is my brother-in-law.
Okay.
So we play twice a year, so you can imagine how good we are. And everything else, like Isle of Skye from Alexander Pfister, I don't know if you know that. Quite a lot. I like Stone Age, I like Puerto Rico.
Yes, Puerto
so
Rico.
all of these games that more already can tell them they are more classics.
Yes.
Puerto Rico, Seven Wonders are all 10 years older, but it's still these are the games I like a lot.
And then the next question that is a follow-up to that is, what is your favorite game that you designed? Like, if you had a favorite child out of all of
yeah,
your...
that's so mean. Which child to give up? Sophie's choice.
And it doesn't need to be based on sales or anything like that. Just
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So I have to distinguish between, so let's say, the game that I'm the most proud of,
Okay.
based off just the idea and the mechanics, is still the mind, because I think an idea or a mechanic like for the mind I will probably never have again.
Okay.
This is also for me a very unique idea that I had, and I was not convinced at all when I had the idea for this game. I had the idea, and it took me a whole year until I made the prototype, because I thought this one would work. So, but as it then worked, and I'm really, let's say, proud of this game, and I'm happy that it's people like it. Although there are a lot of people that don't like it, but it's okay because it's a very strange mechanism. But of my own games, normally I don't play my own games again as soon as they're published, because as soon as they're published, I work like on the next prototype.
Yeah.
But the only game I really still play a lot and still like working on the next games is That's Pretty Clever, or Ganz Schön Clever. That's probably the one game when if someone comes and says, let's play one of the games, which one do you want to play?
Okay.
It's Ganz Schön Clever. Yeah.
What is the highest possible score in
I'm the wrong person to ask. I think
really?
it's 300 something for the first.
Yeah, because I've done 312 on the app.
That's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. I think it did like twice or 3 times more than 300.
Okay.
I think for the second part it's like 400 something. The third part is already finished, but it will come out this year.
Okay.
And this is also the rate of. Oh no, for the second one it's more like it's 1 something, and also for the third one it's more than 400. We haven't figured it out yet.
Okay.
We still have to figure out what's the highest possible.
Actually, Ganz Schön Clever and Twice as Clever, I even have it on the app.
You don't have it on it.
I have it on the
you
app,
have it on the app.
and I have the board game. So
Yeah.
anytime that I'm traveling, it's like the perfect app for me, because I can just sit on the plane or on the train and then just play all night. Yeah.
Cool.
I only downloaded Twice as Clever when I got to 300 on Ganz Schön Clever.
It's a reward. So
Yeah, it's a reward.
Before you don't have the 300, I don't allow myself. It's good.
Next question. What is your favorite mechanic to work with?
Oh, I don't have any.
And
No, because I normally don't start and say, okay, I want to make a worker placement game or want to make like something special. I actually don't have any mechanical prefer. Most of the time I'm just running around and thinking about like different stuff. So I couldn't think of a mechanic. Not even one. I like kind of like drafting because I like Seven Wonders, because it limits downtime, and that's one of the things that I always try to do is like limit the downtime as much as possible.
Okay.
It's not always possible, like a 4-player game of That's Pretty Clever has a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
But if it's somehow possible, I always try to do as many simultaneous gameplays as possible. But you also don't want to do is like that people should watch it out what they're doing. So I don't want to do it too much. But I also try to get the downtime low. So drafting is perfect because everyone can do it at once. But not really any special mechanic or something.
Okay. And then actually related to that, we are actually running going to be launching a podcast soon of our top 50 board games that were influential, like a big book of board games for the decade.
Yeah.
And we're actually gathering insights now from a lot of people. So Eric Lang gave us insights. We wanted to ask you it doesn't need to be good, but like for you in your career, what is the game that like had a big influence on you for this decade, for example?
As mentioned, I don't play a lot of board games, but I've been living in the UK for 4 years, from 2012 to 2016. And this was the first time I really started to play modern board games, because I had a lot of colleagues that I really liked into board games, heavy board games. They said, let's like start making a board game group, and there we play like we met once a week, and this was the time really I played for the first time like Seven Wonders. I played for the first time Puerto Rico and so on. So basically, the games that had the most influence on me were all the games I played there, because then I moved back from the UK and I started designing games based on the experience I had with the games I played there.
Okay.
Since then, I had stopped playing a lot of board games. So basically, the games that I played there were like Puerto Rico, Seven Wonders for sure, Isle of Skye, Terra Mystica. So I played like all the games that we now could call classics.
Yes.
Which one has the most influence? It's really hard to say.
Okay.
Without Dominion, we would probably not have made Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Okay.
Without Imhotep, I wouldn't have made Ganz Schön Clever, because Imhotep, that also this, you have like these cubes, based on where you put the cubes, you have 5 different mini games.
Yes.
You have different ways to make points, and did the same for That's Pretty Clever.
Okay.
That you put the dice in 5 different mini games. So Imhotep for That's Pretty Clever, Dominion for Quacksalver. For the Mind, it didn't really have like a game that influenced that, because the game is quite similar. If you don't know this game, the game, but I haven't played it before.
Okay.
I played the game after I played the Mind, because I showed the Mind to the editor of NSV who published the game.
Okay.
He said, "Oh, and you've never played the game? Play the game." I played the game and was pretty happy that I haven't played the game, because if I would have played it, I would probably not have played the Mind.
The Mind. Okay. Did
So-
you make any final adjustments to the Mind after playing the game?
No.
It's
Okay. Nothing that influenced that.
Okay.
It was quite finished when I showed it to NSV, trying to show it to the editor. The only thing that has changed was maybe the distribution of the bonuses, where you get and which levels you get a new life or a new shuriken card.
Okay.
But that's all actually was changed.
And then one of our curators actually was able to find out that you had a background in molecular biology. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So the question there is your profession there or experience in molecular biology, has that passed on any influence in the way you design games, or in terms of the discipline that you have now?
Probably not exactly that to say, and take experience I had like in the lab or whatever, and put it like as a mechanism in the game, but it's kind of similar thinking process.
Okay.
Also like in the lab, you're just basically, you can sit around and walk for 2 and 3 hours and think about like ideas to get your experiments. You try to find new ideas based on what already has been published. It's basically like in games, you run around and try to find like new mechanism, but at the end you still base everything on the experience you already know about games, you know about certain mechanisms. So it's kind of similar also like in research. If you have a good idea, you don't know if it's worth anything, you have to do an experiment.
Yeah.
An experiment really show it is worth going on and follow this idea or not. And same with like if you have an idea for a game, you say, oh, it's a good idea, but I have to make a prototype and test it. After I've tested it, I will see, is it worth anything? If yes, let's make more tests, let's change it. And do the same with experiments. So the whole process is quite similar. When you have finished all the experiments, you write down like a paper. It's basically like writing down the rule.
Okay.
And you have like 2-3 years of work. It's very complicated. You have to write a paper that even readers that are coming from other scientific disciplines understands exactly what you've been doing the last 2 or 3 years. You have to really like make it very simple that everyone understands it. It's basically what you do when you try to write rules, so that even people who have never played a game understand completely what you're doing based on the rules. So this helped me a lot, like writing rules that even editors or whoever understand this and get a feeling. So the whole working process and idea and thinking process is very similar what you do when you develop games. Very, very similar. Although I have never taken anything that I learned there and put it into kind of a mechanism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will we ever see a science or molecular biology themed game coming from you?
Why not? Let's say it like that. But I start my development process never with theme. I always try to find a nice and fun mechanism.
Okay.
And if that then works, I try to find a theme that sticks to the mechanism. The only exception there is the Taverns of Tiefenthal, where I really started with the theme because I was living in the UK, in Cambridge. And Cambridge has a long pub tradition.
Yes,
and we were going there a lot into the pubs and having Guinness, and I thought, it would be nice to make it like a pub game. And this is how I started to make like the Taverns of Tiefenthal. This is the only game I really started with the theme. But normally I try to find a unique and nice and fun mechanism, and then we will see. And most of the time, the theme changes a lot during the process when you then bring it to a company. The only time I think it hasn't changed is was for Taverns of Tiefenthal because the mechanism fits to the theme.
A lot of people compare Taverns and Quacks of Quedlinburg. A lot of our players actually note that based on reviews and based on like initial gameplay that they have a similar experience coming out from both games. More on the push your luck aspect. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that they're similar or different enough in your opinion?
I think the gaming experience I have the feeling they're quite different, because this one is a push your luck game where you just pull up chips, and the other one is like more a Euro game, engine building game with dice. I'm always surprised when I hear that but I get this that they have the same feeling and kind of same emotions, because both are luck involved, both give you benefits or try to give them like good emotions when you get like a bit of a chain reaction, like in Ganz Schön Clever. But I also don't see like I've never seen Quacks of Tiefenthal being like compared to a push your luck, because basically, in my opinion, it's not a push your luck game. But because you never get to the point where you have to push your luck. You're never at the point where it's your decision to say, I'm going to push my luck or I'm going to stay where I am. Because this is a decision you have to make in Quacks of Quedlinburg. Do you draw another chip or do you not? It's your decision. In Taverns, it's like you draw the cards until like the tables are finished. There's never a decision where you have to push your luck. It's more like in Dominion where you draw cards until you have like 5 cards, and maybe you get like a +1 card action and a +1 card action, and then you have like drawn 7 cards. But you never have to make a decision to stop there. Also here, you never have to say, oh, should I feel lucky? Should I draw another card? Do I do it? This is the push your luck. It's completely missing in Heaven's Attack. But I understand, it's from the same designer. It's both like a more Kennerspiel level, so I get it that people have a bit of the feeling, both with luck involved and everything. But for me, they are completely 2 different games and mechanism and everything.
And then actually this is one of the last questions that we got, but I think we actually reserved it for the last. Or a lot of people say that they feel that you love luck mechanisms in games, randomness elements in games, but at some point they initially feel frustrated at the start with the luck involved, but then they learn to love it. Like, they were asking, like, for example, for aspiring game designers, like, what would be your tip when it comes to handling randomness and luck to make it fun?
That's so hard to say. If I would know that, I would do this maybe even better. This is hard to say. I mean, I never put in the luck element on purpose. It's never like to say, okay, now I've made a game, it's 100% without luck, everything is just like based on what you know, let's put in some luck. It's more like based on the mechanism I have an idea for, is most already like a mechanism that will bring luck. Saying that, I like games where luck, the thing is with luck comes emotionally. It's played, let's say you play chess where you have like 100% like all the information is there. You will never have this, you will have it in a different way, but you will never have this feeling of like, oh yeah, it's exactly the one that I missed. Luck brings in emotions into the game that you most of the time cannot reach with games where are completely without luck. It will bring in frustrations, it will bring in happiness, but it will bring in emotions. Without completely and any luck at all, you will probably not have this, because you still can be surprised by a move in other chess players making, oh, I haven't seen this. But there's never this feeling of like this gives you the emotion of a die roll, it gives you the emotion of drawing a card and thinking, oh, this. And I like this emotion you have in your game. At the end, but you don't want to have like a 3-hour Euro game that at the end the luck will win you. So you try to balance it. But I understand that people say, okay, Taverns of Tiefenthal is maybe over like too much Euro game for them, so it's too much of it. bit too much luck involved. The one thing that I can say is, if you put in luck, put in enough different levels where you get luck.
Okay.
Because it evens out. That simple it is. If you say you have a game where per round you roll the die once, and if you have a 6 it's good, if it's one it's bad, it's not good. If you roll like 100 dice, let's say it like that, per round, it will even out somehow. So if you have like different levels where I say, like a Tavern to Tiefenthal, you can be unlucky with dice. But you will have like a Gaussian distribution, like that, even it out. But if you have now also like the cards, they can be unlucky for you and lucky for you. The thing is like this, the peak will be even higher in the middle. So well, let's say the peak will not be higher, but like the distribution will be even broader. So you will have like situations where you're completely unlucky, where you have bad cards and bad dice, and you will have situations where you're even more lucky, where you have good cards and good dice. But it will not happen that often. So it will distribute out. If you add more and more levels of that, you will get an even broader distribution. So if you put in luck like that, put it in as many levels as possible. And don't make it too long. And don't make it like too thin that at the end you say,
Actually, those are all of the questions. Do you have anything that we can look forward to that's coming out this year?
Not too many actually. So I know I've published several games in the last 1 or 2 years, but many of them have been like in development for several years, so have been like in the pipeline. And most of them just have not been published. So right now I'm mainly in the process of like trying to find new ideas and mechanisms. But saying that, like as I mentioned before, the third part of That's Pretty Clever will come out in autumn this year in Spitzbergen. And Waveland, new party game of mine that just has been published in the US, will now come into like worldwide distribution over the year. I don't know exactly when it will hit Asian countries, when it will hit European countries. Then also I have a kind of silly party game. It's called on the scale of 1 to 2 Rex. That's been published by Exploding Kittens LTC. It just came out this December in the States, and will also now get like worldwide distribution during the year.
Do you know who will handle the distribution?
For the Asian countries, I don't have an idea.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
But for US, for example?
For US, it's Exploding Kittens itself.
Okay.
It's doing distribution for all English-speaking countries.
Okay.
And Asmodee, I think, is doing most of the European countries.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have like 1 or 2 other games, let's say 2 other games, where I also work together with the people where I made Wolfgang Warsch. This is Pumcord, just a small company in the States. And they have 2 games, one a dexterity game with a very new, I think, fun mechanism, but more like a very simple game. And another game where I just have the idea, but it's more like a toy than a game.
Okay.
But this is all more like in the future, and we will see when this will actually come out. Maybe on Kickstarter then. We will see. Yeah.
Do you have any final message to your fans in Philippines and maybe in Southeast Asia?
Let's say it like that. I just learned that I have fans in Philippines, Southeast Asia. This is already like amazing enough for me to hear that like my games are not even played like here where I can see it. I know it from the States, and then I know especially like a game like The Mind is always like amazing to see if I hear from another country where people play like The Mind, but never been to Asia, and like hearing from like people around the world that just playing, enjoying my games. It always feels like every time it feels just amazing. And so I just say thank you for that. Thank you that you really play the game, enjoy the game, give them a chance and say it like that. And then if you enjoy it, I don't know. And also to hear that like a game like Illusion that is more like a bit like buried now beneath my games like The Mind and Quacks or whatever. I'm really happy to hear that they're successful there too. Cool.
Okay guys, that's it. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I know you're busy here in Nuremberg.
That's okay.
And that's it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
See you guys.